Freedom of speech is under attack in Guyana. What are we going to do about it? I am Rico Beaufort, and this is Uncut News. Do you see news happening? Send us a tip on WhatsApp at 592-659-6151. It is Friday, and when I sat down to check the news sites today, I found at the time they were full of nothing but fluff. Seriously, go take a look. It's the most propaganda-filled day I've seen in quite some time. So instead of wasting your time with a set of propaganda pieces, I'm going to go straight to the news that really matters. The stupid news of the day. So buckle up, this one's a long one, but it needs to be said. You know what I think is stupid? Governments around the world are rapidly shrinking the window of discourse in every nation, and most people are doing nothing to stop it. Guyana is no exception. Despite promising to repeal the law almost 2 years ago, our own government actively uses the cybercrime law to silence dissent. This time it's the mayor of Georgetown, who is the latest victim to have his fingers smashed in the Overton window. Now, don't misunderstand me. I do not support offensive hate speech, but I do believe in free speech balanced with personal responsibility. Cyberbullying should be an offense, a civil offense, like defamation. If someone's Facebook post hurt your feelings, sue them. Sue their pants off. Prove to the court that the bad press made you lose money. Otherwise, just grow a thicker skin. In fact, I take that back. If your feelings are hurt that bad, sue them for the cost of therapy. And as for the mayor and his Islamic State question, I don't support offensive speech. That's not okay. And he did apologize for it. But I do support his freedom to ask about the distribution of power in our nation. Public scrutiny is necessary for a healthy democracy, and questioning the holders of power is a part of it. In fact, that's a key tenet of good journalism. But I shouldn't be surprised that no mainstream news outlet is asking these questions, as we only have a set of propaganda outlets in Guyana, all of which the government influences in some way or another. Over the years, the governing party has substantially expanded their influence over the media, to the point that they influence every outlet in this nation, including us at Uncut News. I'll answer how they do that, but first we gotta pay some bills.
Did you know it's bad luck to start the new year with a broke-up truck? Make this a December to remember with Powered Automotive. Powered Automotive has truck parts and spares from all the major brands you know and love at prices you won't find anywhere else. Visit them at 491 EE Eccles or call or WhatsApp them on 697-0171. Save big on truck parts at Powered Automotive, the #1 heavy-duty truck parts store in Guyana.
You can multiply your cash by selling digital top-up. This is a legit way you can earn some extra money at your business or to supplement your current hustle. Become a top-up vendor quick and easy by linking with Cellular Plus. Call them on telephone number 685-3109 for more info.
So, as I was saying, they influence the narrative in Guyana through 4 methods: direct ownership, ad revenue allocation, regulatory pressure, and indirect advertiser pressure. Through being in office and through proxy shareholders, they have direct control over entities such as the Department of Propaganda Information or Propaganda Room. I'm just leaving those names there, you already know what I'm talking about. As a consequence, they are best supported through information and money from said governing party. Now this brings us to the second form of control, ad revenue. Because government announcements make up a huge percentage of the mainstream media's ad revenue, the mainstream opposition/independent news entities such as Gordon Mosley and Starbuck News are actually very careful of what they say, or they will lose their biggest revenue source. Kaitra is probably the only one that sometimes tries, but have you noticed that the big news outlets have all the resources to report on all the crime and discrimination going on in Guyana, but they will rarely ever engage in the investigative journalism that can actually change things systematically? You know, the same type of investigations that Uncut News accomplishes on such a limited budget. Why? Why is that? You know why? It's because monkey know which limb to jump. They know they are allowed to complain, but they can't say anything more than that. Otherwise, they need to expect the consequences. Maybe that's why journalists are currently lauding the Chinese journalism program. And in fact, speaking of Chinese democracy, yesterday's shooting at State House was a prime example of the control the government has over the media. Indirectly, that is. A foreign national launches a violent attack on the president's official residence, and the media doesn't even get a press conference to speak about it. And instead of fighting for one and demanding more answers, the media just accepted the story they were given and kept it moving. Why? Because it's just easier to accept the official narrative than to fight for the truth at the cost of your ad revenue. Again, as I said before, anytime you go against the official narrative, you are pressured into silence by forces pressuring either you directly through regulations or indirectly through your sponsors. Trust me, I am not exaggerating when I say that the most companies in this nation are actually too scared to even consider supporting us because we don't follow the government's official narrative. Now, what is that narrative? Well, there's actually many elements to it, but here's 4 main things I've observed. Number 1, there is no discrimination in Guyana. Number 2, all business growth is good business growth, but only if the government deems it as good. Number 3, the government's truth is the only truth that's real. And number 4, public scrutiny is akin to treason. So, with all that being said, that is honestly why we ask for your support here. You already know what we have struggled with so far because we chose not to compromise with the truth. I could go on, but I just want you to understand that there is a worldwide plan for control. Not a PPP or a PNC thing, but a worldwide plan to control what you say, what you think, and how you live. So, do your own research. Question authority. Question everything you hear, including information you hear from me. Demand change, and push for it when necessary. Because if you think you'll be safe by sitting silently in a corner, then that, my friend, is pretty stupid. If you are still interested in the news of the day, we will leave a few links to some articles in the description below.
As an independent online news entity, being politically objective can cost you a lot of money in lost sponsorship opportunities. That's because most local companies are often too scared to associate themselves with a news entity that is uncompromising with the truth. We do appreciate our sponsors, as their support is what has allowed us to maintain our integrity without fear and remain dedicated to you, our viewers. Every night, thousands of viewers rely on Uncut News because they are tired of the biased and poorly presented mainstream media in Guyana. But to truly compete, we need your help to grow Uncut News from being the most watched online news to the most watched news in Guyana, period. Help us by becoming a monthly subscriber today. There are special rewards at every subscription level, including your name in the credits, personalized gifts, and more. Your monthly contribution helps us to stay independent by spending less time worrying about paying the bills and more time on keeping you informed. So click the link in the description of this video and become a subscriber today.
Now it's time to tell you about Best Buy's Car of the Week. Currently on sale is this 2016 Toyota Crown Athlete. It comes with Bluetooth mount rims, new tires, TV, CD, stereo fog alarm, spot camera, and much, much more. Buy cash for $9.95 million, or pay as low as $1.99 million down with around $170,000 monthly for 5 years, and it is yours. Call or WhatsApp 662-0844 for more info. Visit the showrooms at 171 Peter Street, Queenstown, a lot 2 Amashi, and Southern Rico Century for this sweet tea. December, which means it's robbery season. That's why you need to get security for your home and business through Sheriff Security Service. Sheriff Security offers well-trained guards, armed and unarmed patrol, Marine Patrol, K-9 services. These people even got drones. Why? Because your security is their highest priority. You've seen the rest. Now hire the best. Hire Sheriff Security Service today. Now for our Uncut News Views Poll Question of the Day. Every day we pose a question about current events in Guyana, the region, the diaspora, and how you feel it relates to us. Last night, I asked, how do you feel about the shooting at State House? But before we get to that, we have a special thank you to David Griffith. He is our first paid subscriber. Thank you. Your contribution is what helps us to keep reporting the news. Dimitri V says, this means it's fairly easy to disable 2 of the guards of the president and almost get to him because now he has to train up more guards to protect him and his family. It also means that people are now willing to take drastic actions if they feel necessary. It does set a frightening and terrible precedent. We have truly taken our relative peacefulness for granted in this nation. Jay Jiram says, the attack at State House is clearly disrespectful. One wonders who is the orchestrator of this and what is their motivation. Indeed, I'd like to know as well. Tom Cat also questions how the attacker was able to so easily stab the security guard and to take a gun from the other, and how is he still alive? Don Raj says, how did he end up in Guyana? Who's involved must be held accountable and dealt with immediately. No one is above the laws in Guyana. They must be respected and implemented against corrupt practices and crimes. Indeed. And finally, Barefoot Wanderer says, a Nigerian national as a shooter? I truly pray he makes it out of surgery. I'm intrigued to know why he ended up in this predicament. It's so out of character for a Nigerian, it truly is. I mean, it's just strange to do in general, honestly. But I see where you're coming from. Now for tonight's question. For the past several years, I've been decrying the slow death of free speech in Guyana, especially through the use of the cybercrime legislation. But now I am tired of complaining. I want to know, what should we actually even do about it? I want you to think about that question. Tell us in the comments below. If your response is good enough, we just might feature it in our next episode. Anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight, and check us out on Monday for another. Until then, I'm Rico Bulford saying, have a great weekend. And as always, don't drink and drive. We'll end up on Monday's episode the hard way. Ha-ha! Good night, folks.